The title of my talk today is How to Network Till Your Net Hurt and Your Bank Account Twerk. Once again, it's all about getting attention. The name of my podcast is the Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm not a nudist, but it's about getting people's attention. It's a place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. It's a bunch of little subtle things that you do in order to make events like this make sense, right? So when y'all saw this title, did y'all get a visual of what it would look like for a bank account to start twerking? Like, what did y'all see? Hands on the knees? Was Juvenile playing? No. Did it look like this? Yeah, that's you know, nothing wrong with twerking. It's expressing yourself. You can't unsee it, by the way. But let me tell y'all, the reason why y'all come to events like this is because this is what you want. You can line up 100 successful people and ask them what their definition of success is, and they'll give you 100 different definitions. But really and truly, it all boils down to having options. What's the reason you work in that job that you hate? You don't got an option to leave. What's the reason that you do one thing that you don't want to do instead of another? You don't have an option. You want to have options. You come to places like this to increase your income, to have options. You don't want to stress about bills. Who in here stressing about bills? They is what it is. Pay what you can pay, right? But either way, you know, people say you're gonna be sad whether you got money or sad if you don't have money. I'd rather be sad with money, right? And the ability to help out family and friends. Here's the thing, you know, I got a different feeling when it comes. You know how they say don't loan money to friends and family? Don't go into business with friends and family. If you're not and I agree, do not loan money to friends and family. Give what you have, give, because guess what? If you're not the one helping them when they're in need, who's going to be helping them? Y'all forcing them to step out. Like, what's the point of them calling you? What's the point of y'all being friends if y'all don't help each other in need? That don't mean that if they need $2,000, you give them $2,000. Nah, I see you need $2,000. I don't want to loan it to you, but I'll give you $200 or something like that, right? But once again, I'd rather give and not have family reunions and stuff be awkward. I still want to know about the good stuff in your life. I don't want you to not tell me things anymore because you owe me money, right? So the reason why we come to things like this is so we can get options, so we can not stress about bills, so we can have the ability to help out family and friends. But what's the problem? You got to meet strangers, y'all. I know it's a lot of anxiety. I know it's hard to just have a conversation, but you got to meet strangers. You got to get the strangers to like you. You got to find out a problem that the strangers have that you're able to solve. You got to make sure the strangers knows what you do. You got to solve the problem for strangers. And I put in parentheses for money because it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about doing something that you have the resources and the know-how to do for somebody in order to build that goodwill and then proceed to getting business. And also you need to get those strangers to refer you to their stranger friends, right? And once again, we all started out as strangers. Every serious relationship that you had to have today started as a casual relationship. It's just about how you proceed forward. But let me tell you why you're having these problems. Number one, you're unapproachable. You got a muscle face. RBF. Who in here has been told that, oh man, people keep coming up and asking you, are you okay? And you're like, I'm okay. But like, are you sure? Who's been told that before? I know a lot of people have been told that before. One thing that I'm going to teach y'all today is how to get rid of it. Because some of y'all, I'm going to be real. Who got a muscle face that don't want to get rid of it? If you got an RBF, wouldn't you prefer to have the option of not having people random asking you, are you okay? Wouldn't you prefer it just to be sitting in a room like this and not have to force a conversation, have random people coming up to you smiling? I think you would prefer that. The other problem, you don't want to say the wrong thing, so you say nothing. Who in here has what they call imposter syndrome? You don't have to raise your hands. But it's that syndrome where even though you work towards something, you're learning. Because Anybody that understands what it's really like to be a professional, you never stop learning. You will never know everything. What separates a professional from a non-professional is a professional might not know everything, but they know where to find it. Yes. And they know how to say, I don't know. I deal with people on so many social, economic levels. And what people like myself would do, people who have the resources to change your world, if you say something and we can tell you don't know, we're not going to point it out. It don't seem like you know. We're just going to nod, we're going to smile, and we're going to move on. But we respect when somebody knows how to say, I don't know, but I'm going to figure out how to get to it, right? But what I'm going to teach you is you're not even going to find yourself in a lot of those situations, right? Number 3, you don't know how to hold meaningful and memorable conversations that get results. People don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. And people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And number 4, you don't know what to do afterwards. How many of y'all have come to the Liquidity event? You had a great conversation. The person you talked to can use your product or service and nothing happened. It's happened before, right? So what you're going to learn today, how to get people to approach you daily with a smile. What I'm about to teach you is so simple and it works every time. How to effortlessly hold a sincere and meaningful conversation with anyone. Trust me, you're going to love this. Number 3, how to capitalize on good rapport and get the referral. Did you know that when somebody refers you, you almost can count that business in the bag? That referral is your social proof. The best social proof that you can ever have. A lot of people ask me, why do you do events like this? Social proof. What happens when people see that on a monthly basis, I fill rooms like this? Social proof. What's up, Juan? So who am I? So I believe all truths are parallel. Before you consume something, you need to know where it's from. Before you drink something, look at the source. Before you eat something, say, look at the source. You have to look at the source. Let me tell you the source of this knowledge, because all truths are parallel. Just like you make sure you know where your food is coming from, you make sure you know where your water is coming from, you need to make sure you know where your knowledge is coming from. My name is Randolph Love III. I'm a chartered financial consultant, chartered life underwriter, chartered property casualty underwriter, and fellow Life Management Institute. I have other designations, and I'm actually finishing up the retirement income certified professional designation in a few months. I heard people tell me that you got more letters after your name than in your name, right? And all that means is that I went to school, I learned the curriculum, but what happened if I read a book about swimming for 5 years, but I never got in the water? I don't know how to swim. Let me tell you how I swim. I'm a registered pre-licensing and continuing education provider with the Florida Department of Financial Services. I provide training and consulting to corporate, federal, state, and local governing agencies. I assist individuals and business owners with effective tax minimalizing wealth strategies. I have over a decade of experience in the insurance and financial services industry, and I'm a partner with the franchise consulting company. If you're looking to turn your business into a franchise, make sure you reach out to me. So that's the source of the information, and I didn't get these different contracts with these different national organizations, these different government agencies, just because I had these designations. It's a bunch of people that have these designations that don't have a year-round tan like me. But it's about building that rapport, showing people that you know what to do, what you do, and you get the job done. So let me tell you how I ended up getting these things done, and I'm going to teach y'all, right? So lesson number 1, how do you get rid of your muscle face? Who wants to know how to get rid of a muscle face? Say yes? Yeah. All right. So first off, some of y'all in denial. Some of y'all have been told for so long that you look like something wrong with you that now you wear it like a cape. You like, you know, it's good because I don't want just random people approaching me, right? And yes, that works. But really and truly, you need people. No matter what you think, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, and by the way, just so you know, this is the quickest way to find out if you're an introvert or extrovert. When you leave events like this, do you feel energized or do you feel exhausted? If you feel exhausted, don't worry about it. You did what you had to do, but just know you're an introvert. If you leave events like this and you feel energized, you're an. So once you know, because I know some of y'all say, I don't know what I am. Maybe I'm this, maybe I'm this. What do you call that one in the middle between introvert and extrovert? Ambivert? I don't even know how to say it, right? It makes you either one or the other, right? But so what it is that's how you can figure out exactly what you are. And then once you know where you are, you can adjust to these strategies. So once you get out of being in denial, this is how you fix it. So this is what I want y'all to do. Right now, just hold a regular face. Just a regular face, no smiling. Look at the person next to you and don't say it out loud, but in your head say, I love you. I love you. Y'all look at each other. Just keep saying it. Don't say it out loud. Just keep saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. Just say it different tones. I love you. I love you. What happens is, this is what Ogmandino says. Ogmandino says, and how will I confront each whom I meet? In only one way. In silence and to myself, I will address him or her and say, I love you. Though spoken in silence, these words will shine in my eyes, unwrinkle my brow, bring a smile to my lips, and echo in my voice, and his heart will be open. And who is they will say nay to my goods when his heart feels my love? I will greet this day with love in my heart. So what I'm telling y'all, no matter where you at, no matter where you're going, you don't realize that you have negative self-talk in your head. Even though you think you're just having a normal day, you have negative self-talk in your head, and it's expressing itself through your face. However, if you make it a habit to, on a regular basis, just keep saying, no matter where you at, if you're just sitting in a table by yourself, just keep saying, I love you, I love you. Your brows will be wide open, and watch, you will notice that on a regular basis, people are going to start walking up to you smiling, asking, what's your name, what you do. So that, don't try to overcomplicate it. Just in your head, don't say it out loud. They might commit you. In your head, say, I love you, and watch how it changed the more people you come up to. So when you do this, people are going to come up to you. Did your anxiety just go crazy? So now that you have people coming up to you, and can somebody hand me a napkin? And can somebody make that? I know y'all probably cold, but I'm a sweater, everybody. All right, so that's how you get people to come up to you, but what do you do once the people come up to you? How to effortlessly hold a sincere and meaningful conversation with anybody. Now, I've talked about this in bits and pieces, but this is the first time that I'm colliding them all together, as one good talk to help you out, all right? So I want to let y'all know, when you come to events like this, it's not about you. The reason why you so scared of having conversations and saying the wrong thing, because you think you're supposed to be talking about yourself in these events. I know it seems counterintuitive. I came here for people to know about my business. I came here for people to do business with me, to get referrals. Now you're telling me to not even talk about myself? Yes. Whoever heard is more blessed to give than to receive. And a lot of us take that as all right, I'm just supposed to be broke my whole life, and I'm supposed to just give to everybody, and I'm going to be blessed, and I got my one Toyota Corolla, and this, No, what happens is when you do this the right way, when you give, you don't expect to get anything back. You know you're going to get something back. And people only do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And the best way to get somebody to know, like, you and trust you in a short period of time is to let them talk unencumbered. Let them talk about themselves. Let them talk about their family. Let them talk about their occupation. Let them talk about what they do for recreation. Let them talk about what they do for their dreams. Like, what are they doing this for? We call this forward, everybody. Everybody say forward. Forward. Say it one more time. Forward. Forward. Forward means family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Say it with me. Family, occupation, recreation, family. There you go. Asking about someone's family invites personal storytelling and often reveals values and priorities. Questions like, do you have any family in the area? How do you balance work and family? Can quickly build emotional connection. What about occupation? While what do you do is a classic icebreaker, go in deeper, such as what's the first job that you ever had? Or what's something exciting happening at work right now, shows genuine interest and can uncover shared professional interests or goals. What about recreation? Recreation, questions tap into passions and hobbies, which are key to forming memorable connections. Try what was the last good vacation you've been on, or what do you like to do when you're not thinking about work? This is where people lighten up and where you're most likely to find common ground. And last, dreams. What are you doing all this for? This might be the most powerful category. Asking someone about their goals or aspirations, what does the top of the mountain look like for you? Not only sparks deeper conversation, but also positions you as someone that is invested in their growth. People don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And when you are at an event like this where everybody is only talking about what you do for work, when you're the first person to ask them what they do for vacation, when you're the first person to ask them about their family, when you're the first person to ask them about what their motivations are, you instantly differentiate yourself and separate yourself from the crowd, right? So I'm going to show y'all this in action, okay? So I know y'all thinking like, all right, I just talked about their family, occupation, recreation, dream. How many of y'all can feel the awkward silence coming before it gets there? You can feel it. It's like, it's coming. The words are slowing down. I don't know what to say. I know Randolph told me to ask about their vacation, but how do I transition from just talking about their family to vacation to dreams? How do I do that? I'm about to show you how to effortlessly collide all of those categories together. What I do is I take forward and I combine it with what Chris Voss calls, he's a former FBI negotiator and the author of what's the name of it? Never Split the Difference. He uses these terms called mirroring and tactical empathy. Say mirroring and tactical empathy. Mirroring. You're going to use what former FBI hostage negotiator and author Chris Voss calls mirroring and tactical empathy. So what's mirroring? Mirroring is repeating the last 2 to 3 words of what someone says. It encourages that person to speak and keep talking. So if you're talking to somebody and they just said, and they talking, if you, and I'm going to give y'all some homework, you'll be surprised. If you just repeat the last 2 to 3 words of what they say, they'll be talking for hours. They'll never realize that you're only repeating the last 2 to 3 words. Do this not just with family, not just with business, do it with family. If you have a child that seems like they never want to talk to you anymore, it's because you're giving unsolicited advice. And of course, as a parent, you want to make sure to put them in the right category, but guess what happens is, the next time that you're talking to them, don't give them no advice, just repeat the last 2 or 3 words of what they say. Oh yeah, me and my friends were going to over to my friend's parents' house, nobody home, they went on vacation. As a parent, you want to be like, what you going to somebody's house and nobody home, right? Guess what happens if you said, they went on vacation? They're gonna, instead of your kid feeling, they're gonna expound on they're gonna keep talking. You're gonna be getting all the information you need to get without coming across as giving unsolicited advice, without coming across as a parent that they can't tell anything to. But it works with business as well. And then you use tactical empathy. So remember when I said you can feel that awkward silence coming? As soon as you keep repeating the last 2 to 3 words of what they say, and you feel that awkward silence come, once the awkward silence comes, you summarize what you just heard them say by starting the sentence with seems like, looks like, sounds like. That's why they call it tactical empathy. You're not agreeing with anything. Somebody can tell you that this president is the best president I ever had. Seems to be a good 4 years for you. They don't have to know your political stance. You are able to listen to what they say, show empathy by saying what it seems like they're saying and keep the conversation moving. All right? It proves to the person that you're speaking with, that you're actually listening to them and you're not just waiting on your turn to speak. So let me show y'all how to put it in action. All right? So when you come to an event like this, you're definitely going to start with occupation, most likely, right? So, and just so y'all know, when y'all put this in practice, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. They'll be talking for hours, right? But I abbreviated it so you can see how it works. So let's say occupation. So this is you. What's the first job that you ever had? This is them. I used to fix tires and do oil changes at Pep Boys. That was probably the hardest physical job that I ever worked in my life, but it was a lot of fun. Absolutely. We would joke around with each other all day, and many times after work, we'd get together and grab some drinks and make some lifelong memories. What do y'all think I'm going to say? Lifelong memories? Heck yeah. And notice, I'm inflecting my voice. I'm raising it up at the end so it comes across as a question, but it's not a question. I'm making a statement. Heck yeah. I remember one time I drove my car into a ditch and on the way to one of our get-togethers, and when they found out, they all left the party and came to help me figure out how to get it out the ditch without having to pay a tow truck. You, remember, looks like, seems like, sounds like. Seems like you all weren't just co-workers, you were friends. What he said, that's right. I really should check in on some of those guys and see how they're doing. What you just did was you triggered a positive memory in their head that they hadn't even thought about. And you didn't ask no questions. You didn't talk about yourself. It was them. They're starting to like you now. No, they're still a little bit on the fence, right? So then, you just did what you were supposed to do. Y'all was supposed to talk about work. And then you switched to recreation. Remember, you did that seems like, looks like, sounds like when you felt that conversation slowing up. Then you hit them with, well, what do you like to do when you're not thinking about work? They say, I really love to travel. Last year, my wife and a few of our friends, we took a trip to Colombia. It was amazing, but best of all, everything was extremely affordable. For sure. All of us ate and had drinks at a festive restaurant for less than $40, right? So remember. So see what I did. Now, this is what's going to happen. Y'all going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to think, hold on, they definitely know I'm only repeating the last 2 to 3 words. Trust me, they don't. They in their bag. They getting their big one off. They've been getting interrupted all day by people. You're the first person that's letting them keep going, right? So, but remember, see, I could have said less than 40, but I just hit them with the $40, right? $40? Yes, $40. Now, sometimes you might hit the people with the last 2 to 3 words, and all they'll do is say, yeah, right? Then what you hit them with? Seems like, looks like, sounds like. Sounds like I need to be planning a trip to Colombia soon. Them, I think you should. You won't believe it until you see it. So let's go to the next one, family. Now remember, most people haven't even asked them about family. And just so y'all know, I'm going a little bit over. One of my lifelong friends, I call her my sister, and she was a little late today, so I get to go a little over. And what I like about people like Dr. Cynthia, she might be late for herself, but she's never late for the children that she worked with, for the parents that she deal with. I love it, right? So, but speaking of family, your wife takes vacations with you. Does she also work in the business? Them, no. She's still working a corporate 9 to 5 to keep a steady income and low-cost health insurance while I build up the company and takes us to the next level. The next level? Yes, the next level for us is bringing in enough money for her to quit her job and we can finally start a family. Are y'all seeing a trend? Definitely. 2.5 kids, picket fence, a dog. Seems like, looks like, sounds like. Looks like you both are planning for the American dream. Them, yes, we've been making a lot of progress too. So we already did occupation. We already did recreation. Well, we already did family. What's next? Dreams. What does the top of the mountain look like for you? Them. For me, there is no top of the mountain. I'm always looking for things to learn and new opportunities to explore. Opportunities. Now, once again, y'all remember back in school, I don't know if they still do this, but they used to give us a paragraph and we had to pick the main idea. This is the same thing. You don't have to say the last 2 to 3 words. Pick the main idea of the last 2 to 3 words. But when you do it like this, it just makes it easy and simple. Opportunities, yes. I always keep my eyes for the horizon for things that give me energy. What I'm going to say? I like that, because it would have been awkward if I said, give me energy. But I said energy. Energy, yes, I do things that give me energy. If it gives me energy, then I figure out how to monetize it. You, seems like I should start looking for things that give me energy too. Looks like you've really got your priorities figured out. Sounds like you're on the right path. So notice what I didn't do. I didn't use seems like, looks like, sounds like as an opportunity to give some unsolicited advice. Seems like if your wife isn't working in the business with you, you need to find somebody else. That's not what seems like, looks like, sound. You need to say seems like, looks like, sounds like from their point of view. That's why it's called tactical empathy, right? So don't make this mistake. What's going to happen is these people are going to love you. They're going to leave here tonight thinking that you're the best conversationalist in the world. But what happens when they ask you one question about yourself? All of a sudden, you, blah, 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 blah. Answer it sincerely and concise and get back to them. Because remember, tonight isn't about you. It's about them, right? So I know what you're thinking. I know at least one of you are thinking, that's a very disingenuous way to communicate. Whoever laughed, that's what you was thinking, right? That isn't a real conversation. When do I get to talk about myself? Well, first and foremost, talk about yourself to your dog. If that's what you want to do, get a therapist, right? But if you're trying to get those options that I told you about in the beginning, you'll figure it out. But has anybody ever had a conversation with somebody, and when you're talking to them, they forget what they were saying? They're like, what was I saying? You be like, I don't remember. Y'all know what that means, right? Neither one of y'all was listening. They wasn't even listening to themselves. So it's not until, because this is what's going to happen. When you get somebody talking about themselves so much, eventually they're going to be like, what was I saying? Because you got them so excited. They finally are talking about themselves. They're going to forget what they were saying. Do you know how intensely you have to listen to wait for the last 2 to 3 words? You're listening harder than you've ever listened in your life. And when you finally get to that moment to where somebody forget what they said, you're going to be able to catch them up from the beginning of the conversation until the end. And that's when you'll realize you just had the most genuine conversation that you ever had, right? So lesson 3, when and how to talk about yourself and capitalize on that good rapport. So if anybody comes to these events on a regular basis, do you notice how after the end of the night you get what I call a capability statement? If you're in government contracting, you know what a capability statement is. It's like a resume, but for your business. It talks about what your core competencies are. It talks about what your company's mission is. It talks about what your differentiators are. It talks about your past performance. It tells people how to get in touch with you. That's when you talk about yourself. When the person leaves after having had the best conversation that they've ever had with you in their life, and you send them your capability statement, not only do they know, like, and trust you, but now they know what you do. And I'm going to leave y'all with one thing. Now, I mentioned this before. Has anybody ever heard of the word idiot or imbecile? So my granddaddy, he was one of those people where whenever the encyclopedia person or the dictionary people would come, because back in the day, they used to come and knock on your door and sell you encyclopedias and dictionaries. He used to buy them every time, right? And if you look in his old dictionaries before the politically correct people got to it, you look up the word idiot, it says an idiot is somebody with the mental capacity of 0 to 3 years old. You look at the word imbecile, it says an imbecile is somebody with the mental capacity of 3 to 7. When you look it up today, it says an idiot or an imbecile is somebody that's quote unquote stupid. But do y'all know that words originate, where they originate is very important? Do y'all know that the original meaning for the word idiot wasn't a stupid person? The word idiot ultimately comes from the Greek noun, a private person. Think about that. Now, whenever they say the word private person, they're comparing it to a public citizen. Back in these days, the people that were in the Senate, and some people might say still to this day, I might say still to this day, they considered the regular person to be an idiot. So you were either a public person or an idiot, a regular citizen. So they said, if you are a private person, you are an idiot. So when I said that, I said, hold up. So a private person is considered an idiot? So I wonder what an imbecile